Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and on this incredible day, 43rd anniversary of Roe versus Wade, and there's a lot going on with this recognition. We are delighted to have with us today Jason Jimenez. He is the co-director of Stand Strong Ministries, and he also co-hosts with Dr. Alex McFarland the Viral Truth radio show, TV and radio show. So we're delighted to have him with us today. And I just want to say, Jason, thank you to you and Alex for the work that you guys do. It's terrific. Oh, we have no audio.
We appreciate it, Peter.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, this is an incredible day. I guess one of the big things that we have to look at here, from your perspective, Jason, do you think we'll get this overturned someday?
Well, I mean, when you look at the of the legal things, Peter, it's hard to tell. I mean, it really is. I mean, obviously you and me and many of your listeners and followers and many Christians around the country, even quite the world, are praying that it would at some point get overturned. So that's our prayer. I mean, and the work that you guys are doing and that we're certainly doing with many organizations, and as praying for this coming election for a president who is a constitutionalist, who's pro-life, that they would take everything within their power to see this thing get overturned. So that's our hope and our prayer.
You know, what's so interesting and very disheartening is that in light of the videos that came out this past year, they were very revealing of what goes on with Planned Parenthood, as you well know. And yet our Congress went ahead and passed the spending bill, which funded Planned Parenthood for another year. And if I have my statistics right, 150 Republicans voted for that bill. I think it was like, and 95 voted against it. But that is an unprecedented amount of Republicans who were supposedly pro-life voted to fund Planned Parenthood for another year. And then they have the audacity to come back and run a bill that would defund Planned Parenthood, knowing that they gave the president everything they wanted for a year, including Planned Parenthood, and knowing that it would be vetoed. I think it's this kind of actions that's got us pretty much sick of politics.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Paul Ryan should be ashamed of himself. I think that, like you said, Peter, 150 different Republicans who claim to be pro-life allowed this omnibus bill. I mean, Alex and I just recently on one of our TV shows, we covered the title, Why Government Spending is a Bad Idea. And in this case with the omnibus bill, or we like to call it an omnibus bill, is after this horrific display of what is taking place with Planned Parenthood, as you rightly said, in the video stuff that has been coming out for the last year and a half that we've been witnessing. And we were part of many rallies across the nation to defund Planned Parenthood. And then for the Congress to turn around and to hand a bill to President Obama, who's the most pro-abortion president that we have ever seen, to do what they've done. And then, like you said, and then they try to play politics and try to give him another bill to veto. They knew what they're doing. Now, a lot of them would say that this bill had a lot of advances for the military. It allowed a lot of the piping for the oil that was that lifted a lot of this liberal policy for the last few decades. So they said it was a win-win. But no, life comes first. And we were telling our Congress people, men and women, all of our representatives, Peter, for them to defund, and they're giving them more money this year in operation expenses, even though they say, well, this is coming from a sense of entitlements from the Medicare side of things, so it's not a direct deposit into Planned Parenthood. That's nonsense. That was a political way of them trying to get some things, but allowing Obama and Cecil Richards with Planned Parenthood and many of these other organizations that advance women's reproductive rights to continue to abort and murder innocent life. And so they should be ashamed. And we as a church, we were rising up to put an end to this, to defund Planned Parenthood. But as a slap in the face, they disregarded all the things that we said. And so this coming election, what we need to be doing, and many of our listeners and supporters and the church as a whole, you need to turn to vote these people out.
Do you see campaigns mounting up now? We're in the primary season. Do you see campaigns mounting up against some of these who voted for it?
Quite frankly, not really. I mean, there are some, obviously, but not as much, Peter, as you and I would expect. So this is, even though we're now in a period of our life after 43 years, okay, and recognizing this unconstitutional law that was put into place, we are seeing a shift in people's beliefs when it comes to pro-life. Even millennials, younger people are against abortion. And yet, despite that, we're seeing a Congress that is still protecting these, quote, rights and are preventing more pro-life candidates coming in. So sadly, I don't think that we're seeing right now, and I'm not saying this is going to change, I do pray that it will, but right now we're not seeing. We saw the defund Planned Parenthood, and I think a lot of energy and focus and outrage went to that. And then when they see this bill get passed and Obama signed it into law, it kind of deflated that momentum. And so now I think that we just got to continue to do what we're doing in the media to speak to these issues and not to give up. And so hopefully this will be another resurgency, if you will, that more of the Christian conservative base will rise up and look at the representative and ensure, because to your point, Peter, we were doing some interviews recently, and not a lot of people realize if their representative allowed that bill to be passed. They weren't even aware of that. So, you know, if they understand and they do something about it, hopefully these next coming elections, you'll see people get kicked out that voted for this bill.
My last question here for you, Jason. What do you think we have done to us spiritually as a country by allowing this to continue?
Well, I think, Peter, I think that's the heart of it. I mean, I think us as it's built on a Judeo-Christian ethic that turned to God, that was built on natural rights, that was built on the freedoms that each of us display, the human value of life. And for us to turn our back on God and to say that we have a right to basically end, they like to use the word, or to end the term of pregnancy, is not just despicable, it's detestable. And I think that God's judgment as a result of that we have allowed millions upon millions, some estimates 54 million, other estimates 62 million babies since Roe v. Wade have been murdered, have been taken. And I think as a result, Peter, the sad reality is we're seeing a nation that becoming more secular, more godless, that God's judgment is falling upon us because we have allowed this atrocity to continue to take place.
Well, thank you for your work, both you and Alex. Blessings to you guys, and to our viewers and listeners. You can go standingstrongministries.com, standingstrongministries.com. Thank you, Jason. Look forward to talking to you in the future.
Peter, God bless you guys. You too.
We'll be right back.
I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at theDove.us.